Keith here from the Hydrogen Standard, continuing our series at the Hydrogen Technology World Expo in Hamburg. Now, I'm on the booth of Ceimig, which I believe is chemistry in Celtic, the ancient language of Scotland. I'm chatting to Lucy, an R&D chemist from Ceimig. Lucy, it's lovely to be here chatting to you. Tell us a little bit about Ceimig, who you are and what you do.
So we are a branch of the Ames Goldsmith Corporation. They are a Liverpool-based company and they produce silver oxide and silver nitrate. And Ceimig is the branch that works in platinum group metals. So we are mass producers of iridium-based catalysts for electrolysers. We make a lot of iridium-based catalysts, and we also make some sensor materials. So we make some platinum ruthenium and some platinum black. We have a few other areas as well. We do some work with osmium tetroxide for some companies, and we also fill reservoirs for companies that work in photomasks.
So quite a broad scope. What new products do you have on the horizon? What should we be expecting to see soon?
We're doing quite a lot of work on platinum on carbon at the minute and trying to increase the durability and increase the performance. We have been looking at working with some transition metals with the platinum on carbon to see if that can increase durability. We also have a process change that we're investigating at the minute to see if that could give a step change to the performance in the platinum on carbons. Also, some work being done on cell reversal catalysts. So if a cell has been starved of fuel, it can work in reverse without damaging the cell itself. All ongoing work just now.
So a broad scope, Lucy, lots going on at the moment at Ceimig. What new products do you have on the horizon?
We're doing a lot of work on platinum on carbons at the minute. We're trying to increase durability and performance of the platinum on carbons. We've been looking at including transition metals in the process to see if that can help. There's also a process change being investigated at the minute to see if that can help with the durability of the catalysts. There's another project ongoing to look at cell reversal catalysts, which can help a cell run in reverse if it's been starved of fuel, and it means that it doesn't damage the cell as a whole, so it can still function normally, even if it has had no fuel for a certain amount of time.
So exciting times at Ceimig. We're now going to hear from one of Lucy's colleagues, I believe the head chemist Zac as well. Tell us, what's Ceimig's unique selling point?
So I suppose there's a few different things that Ceimig can do. The first thing that we've got that goes for us is that we manufacture and we develop and we test in-house. All of what goes on in Ceimig actually goes on like in the same building with the same chemists and the same equipment, which means that if you want to develop a product, we can make small batches of it there with some very talented chemists. We can use our test equipment to show that it works. We can then take those results and iterate on them and improve on them. And then out of the door will come a finished product without having to ever really leave our ecosystem. So we make decisions quickly and we make them quite effectively and efficiently. And that means that our turnover is quite fast. Our turnover of products and our project kind of speed is quite rapid. And the products generally come out as quite high quality as a result.
Now, a lot of the materials you're working with are precious metals and they're quite rare and scarce. So what are Ceimig doing to protect those resources moving forward?
So you're absolutely right. The iridium is incredibly rare, 8 tons a year of mined, platinum 17 tons. So we're talking about very, very small numbers here. The main thing that we're doing, we can do two things, right? We can use less iridium and less platinum, or we can recycle iridium and platinum and ruthenium as well. We can do and what we're actually doing is both of those things at once. So we are lowering the loading of iridium in our electrolyser cells. And right now, our iridium loading, in terms of the amount of iridium in our products, our flagship product is 68% iridium. That's actually down from the 99-ish% iridium that some other manufacturers produce. We can get it down from 68% to something in the region of 24%. And those tests are ongoing. But at 24% iridium, we are seeing thus far pretty good performance and pretty good durability, which are the two things that you really need for electrolysers to flourish. So yeah, that's the way we use less iridium, and so that kind of extends, that stretches out the iridium timeline. It stretches out the amount that we're able to get out of the ground. The other thing that we're doing is that we're trying to recycle, and this is a bit more of a dicey proposition. It's quite difficult to do, and it involves, buy-in from partners who have scrap electrolysers, scrap fuel cells to provide. But we are actively looking into to recycling so that we can take, for instance, an electrolyzer at the end of its life that's maybe 10 or 15 years old. We can break it down into its component parts, and we can use that same iridium that we maybe sold to them 15 years ago to put back into the system. So it's a closed loop. And as a result, it's a lot more environmentally friendly. There's less environmental destruction in the extraction of iridium from the ground, and it's generally kind of better for everything.
So the iridium as a precious metal itself doesn't break down, doesn't decompose at all. You can continue to use it.
That's right. Yes. So whilst there will be a very small amount of iridium loss in the system over the lifetime of the product, most of what gets put into the electrolyzer will come out of the electrolyzer again. And because iridium is completely non-renewable, what we've got on Earth is it. It's a really good idea for us to be using that as often as possible, to make it go around the loop as many times as possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I suppose for people watching this thinking, are Ceimig a company that I want to do business with? What would your message be to them? How would you convince them?
So Ceimig is not a big company. We're very small indeed, and we are, as a result, we're able to deal with very small customers. So if you go to one of the bigger competitors, they're not interested in you if you don't want huge amounts of iridium, if you don't want huge amounts of platinum. You just aren't worth their time. No disrespect to them, but as a result of us being small, we're actually able to deal with customers who are fairly small, who are starting up, and we grow with them on their journey. Because we have all of this testing facility in house, all of these very talented chemists and engineers who are very good at what they do. We are not just selling you our range of products and you don't get anything else. We're able to go with you on this journey to develop more products, to develop new products or make products that we already make slightly better or slightly different for your capabilities. Because we're fairly multidisciplinary, we can do electrochemistry, we can do manufacturing, and we can do development. All of these things kind of feed into a product that is kind of developed quite holistically and is likely to have a very good performance overall.
Thank you very much indeed, Zac. There we go. So Ceimig, a company that will grow with you, that is already looking at ways to recycle and reuse, and therefore looking after the planet long term.